Hello, and welcome back for another speed build video. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but happy Valentine's Day to you. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. I never really know what to do for these Valentine's type builds. I always like to do stuff that's a little bit seasonal from time to time. And last year I did a swatch switch challenge on an apartment complex that was like in the shape of a broken heart. If you want to check that out, I'll link that down below for you. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into this build. So I built this in CU which is the world that comes with the Love Struck expansion pack. I don't think I really need to explain why Love Struck, Valentine's Day, they kind of go hand in hand, but I referenced the house across the street here on the left to kind of match the style of the world. So that was very much an influence for like some of the characteristics I put on the house outside. But I wanted to like go into this. I already knew I wanted to like have this long hallway that goes to the front door, and I wanted a front courtyard that was off of that. So I had those general concepts in mind whenever I was trying to think through how I wanted this to go, but I wasn't quite sure like how I wanted to lay out any of the rest of the house or even know what the shape of the house was going to be. And then I did this like custom lattice here as well over the courtyard space. I love doing stuff like this. It's really, really cool. And if my voice sounds like it's going out, it is because this is my third time recording this, because the first time I didn't have my overlays set up correctly. So I had the audio, but you couldn't see me in the box here. You just saw the sped up version of me building this. And then the second time I did the whole thing and just realized I forgot to hit record. So here we are. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna thrive. I went with this light pink color because I didn't think it was as heavy as like the red. I think red would have been way too much. And then I used these columns that I hardly like ever use. I don't know if I've ever used these, but I was like, now is the time to do it. And I came across the bell from Wedding Stories that was in the perfect pink swatch, and then the Nordhaven roof pieces that came with businesses and hobbies also kind of matched. So I was like, you know what, let's just like blend a couple of styles here so it's still fun. The whole concept of this build was that it needed to be a balance between tacky and tasteful. So there are some things that I went into this doing that I'm like, this is 100% tacky. Do I care? No, that was the idea. Some of it is tasteful. So it's like finding a good balance between the two. Now, one thing you'll notice too is I ended up finding this like wedding beacon, and I put that on the roof piece of our like fake chimney that we have over here. And I put the roof pieces so we can like taper it up and give it that nice like custom feel that you see oftentimes in real life anyway. Now, I came across the red roof trim and I was like, whoa, wait a second. I think we're onto something here. And the white trim I had placed comes in red. I was like, we're doing the red because the whole idea is I want someone to see this build from the outside and think Valentine's Day immediately. I don't want it to be a single question in their mind. I want them to be like, that is a Valentine's Day build. So the white I liked better. Yes, I did. The red though, that's a choice. That's a Valentine's Day choice. So yes, I chose the red. It is tackier, but again, we're making tasteful and tacky decisions here. Now, the floor plan took me a while. I did do a double door entry. It's from a single door, but I just put them side by side because I really like the vibe of them. The layout, though, on the first floor took me forever because, one, it was a big space, so there's so many ways you could do it. But two, I also have gotten in this bad habit lately where I only put like my bedrooms on second floors if I have a 2-story build. So I was like, I have to put one bedroom down here. So I went ahead and blocked off a bedroom. Then I was so determined to use a rounded room because of the new stair update. I wanted to like do stairs next to a rounded room so I could pull off one side of the stairs and drag them over to touch the wall just because it was cool. So that also took me forever to figure out where I wanted to place that. So that actually ends up becoming our bathroom downstairs, which is in like the center of the entire first floor. So it's kind of cool actually how it lays out because you walk in, you have your living room, you wrap around to the kitchen, and then the dining room is over here by the back door. And then you look to the left of the front door and you have a long hall that goes into this really pretty bookcase feature wall. And I'll get into that in a little bit, like what I did. We had to do some like tweaking to adjust for some clippage that was happening, but it ended up working out just fine. I had to use the red cabinets here. I mean, it was no question because we get the pink curtains with it. So I was like, we have to do that with the cottage living. I wasn't fond of the style of the cottage living cabinets. It doesn't quite match the aesthetic of the house, but I was like, for the colors and again, for the tacky, we have to do it. So I pulled the tile from high school years. I love that tile so much. And then I add some uppers to go around. It's a lot of red, but this is like the reddest part of the house is the kitchen and dining space. The rest isn't as overwhelming. I have a lot of red furniture in the living space, but I have white flooring everywhere. I use white walls everywhere except for like the occasional red accent wall. So it balances out a pretty good bit because red can be like really, really heavy, especially inside. So I like just like trying my best to be careful with it. But like here in the dining space, I put a pink rug and then actually layer the same rug, size it down and make it white just to like cut through a little bit because it was a lot of red on red. Then we have the Secret Sanctuary's fireplace. I wanted to use that because it's so pretty, but whenever I was thinking through, well, the rest of the house, I might have a neutral colored floor, and I was like, maybe we'll do white, and we have this marble that we use on the floor, and I was like, the white marble fireplace would match really well with that. So I tried to keep the floors like a bit simpler. Now in the bathroom, I used the Riviera Retreat tile. It's a bit chaotic, but to be fair, it's a bathroom and I had white walls everywhere, so it balances out pretty well. So it's like the floor is more so the feature in that bathroom than anything else. And then I'm starting to like furnish the living room space. I debated the like heart chair. I thought that leaned a little too tacky for the living space. So I opted to put that over in the corner of the hall where we'll end up putting our bookcase. So if you wanted to sit down and read a book there, then that is the chair that you can do that in. And then I did use a good bit of Courtyard Oasis in the courtyard. I just put that big coffee table outside. Now, the name of the game with this was trying to find like a good rug. I didn't want to use the same rugs everywhere, so I opted to go with this one. It has like these nice red and pink tones and a little hint of purple. I use a little bit of hint of purple here and there, but I did not want to overdo it with the purple. I used Grange Mudroom a good bit in this hall space because we have red and pink swatches, and I thought the pink was really, really pretty. Again, I didn't want to overdo it the red, so there are a lot of pink influences on the first floor. The second floor, I would say, has a good bit more of red. But just with the living space areas having so much red, I was like, I have to balance it out with pink. And then I put a pool in the backyard. I just thought that was really nice. It's like kind of like a lap pool almost. And then I almost forgot about my bedroom because again, I'm not used to having a bedroom on the first floor, but also it didn't have a light in it. So I completely ignored it and I didn't even have a door to the room. I already had it blocked off. So I had to like move the chair to the other side to put a door. But I grabbed this bed. It has like a little bit of the purple. So I pulled the wardrobe that matches with like this purpley ombre and the pink as well. And I think it looked really good. The name of the game for this room was like pink. I wanted a lot of pink in this room. That's what I ended up doing. Eventually, I do put carpet down instead of the tile in the bedrooms, and a lot of that influence came from the time that I was a manny when I lived in New Mexico, and the house that I mannied at, they had tile everywhere. It was the same exact tile in the entire house except for like the kids' bedrooms, which had carpet. So I was kind of channeling that a little bit. So I go back and I end up putting like, I think it's the pastel pop kit pink carpet in both of the kids' bedrooms. So we have a kid downstairs. Upstairs, we have a teenager's bedroom and then the primary bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. So the kids' bedrooms have that pink carpet. I do a red carpet in the primary bedroom. Like in real life, you probably wouldn't want to have so many different styles, like with different carpets and stuff. But I was like, we'll keep the kids the same, but if we were going to have a different carpet somewhere, the primary bedroom would be the place to do it. And then the teenagers' bedrooms, like this black and red color scheme, and the name of the game there is Hearts. I have a lot of heart references in there, furniture with heart swatches, things like that. So I wanted to like have a little bit of an aesthetic for each bedroom, and I had a lot of fun cluttering this one. Usually, y'all know, I like to put the main furniture and then clutter everything after the fact, but I got into this so quickly I went ahead and like just did the whole bedroom. And I put the like music swatch on the wall of that object, even though it's not super kid friendly, or like not kid friendly but not kid centric. It was because I put a violin in there for her bedroom, so it just made sense to do that. And now I'm starting to like just put the base furniture in the bathroom here. So I have a shower, and I actually go back in and put the for rent shower. I have a toilet, so it's a full bathroom on the first floor. It's a little bit funky because it is rounded. And then I like start trying to figure out the like setting for the landing up here. It was a bit obnoxious because there's this issue. I don't know if it's because the stairs were connected to a rounded room or if it's just because the stairs were stretched at the bottom on one side. I don't know if that's a new glitch that we have to pay attention to or not. But if I put a fence or a half wall, it would delete the staircase every time. No idea why. I've had that issue before, but for different reasons that aren't because of this. So I opted to just pull the sleek bathroom kit half wall object. So we get the same kind of feel of it being a wall, and I just put that around. So it worked either way, not a big deal. I finally got to use this animal print in a build. So I don't use this hardly at all, ever. I got the heart-shaped bed, and then I put the animal print as an accent wall, and then I pulled this mirror with the trunk from Love Struck just as our wardrobe, just to use more Love Struck. The main packs that you would want if you were to download this off the gallery, it has a lot of DLC. I'm really, really sorry. But I would say prioritize businesses and hobbies, Love Struck, and high school years. I think those are the three must-haves if you want to download this. And a lot of that is just because like businesses and hobbies, you have the roof pieces and all of the windows. All of the windows on the house are from businesses and hobbies. And then high school years is a lot of the kids' bedrooms, like a lot of the stuff there. So, if you're okay with refurnishing stuff and that's not a big deal to you, then that's fine. Now I'm starting to like figure out more of the vibes in the bedrooms upstairs. I'm like putting the curtains here in the primary bedroom. I put like the art stuff in there. I just pictured some type of activity needing to be in there, and that would work really well. I found the B&H lamps. So these were exclusive. Like if you didn't purchase businesses and hobbies by a certain date, you couldn't get it. I think there are workarounds for that, but I just thought they were too perfect to not use because they had a pink ombre with white and then they had gold veining in them. So I was like, I have to use those because they were just, again, too perfect. Now I'm working on the bathroom off of the primary bedroom, which was a choice. As you can see, it's like a pink and peach combination going on in there. So there's a lot happening in there. Again, tacky and tasteful. It was a balancing act. I'm not saying I was trying to make things that were both tasteful and tacky. I'm saying I took liberties where I purposely had things that were tacky just for the sake of the Valentine's theme, and then other parts that were tasteful. Okay, so it's both. It's both. There are parts that are tacky, parts that are tasteful. So I'm working on the teenage bedroom now, trying to lay out and get the main furniture pieces. I got the heart swatch for the curtains, and then we have this wardrobe from high school years as well that has the hearts on it. So I was like, I have to use that. And then I got the bear that's holding the heart. I have the heart bed, like the bed with the heart comforter rather. We have the heart nightstand. We have the heart books. We have the heart wall decal. Like I went nuts with the heart stuff. And I really like the like dark and moody vibe of this. I eventually end up putting the canopy over the bed and make that black, which there it is. That actually like I feel like sells it a bit more for the vibes a pretty good bit. I didn't want everything to be red. The walls are so red, so it's like anytime I could add black to contrast off of that, I was trying to focus on that. We have the ottoman at the foot of the bed there, and now I'm just starting to put some like nice finishing touches because this was the last room that we needed to basically organize. I went ahead and shifted to clutter phase, so now everything from this point forward is in the clutter phase. So all the nice little details and putting those in, I like to operate that way. I think it works better for my brain because I'm so scatterbrained all the time. So it just helps with that. And then I went into this, it was actually quite funny. I went into this build with the intention of using the lip couch and putting it in the teenager's bedroom. And I completely forgot. Like I put this chair from Love Struck, and then I have the stool from Businesses and Hobbies in the high school years table. And then I was like, oh no. I eventually remembered. So I go back in and I do put the lip couch, but I delete the Love Struck chair and I kind of reorganize how all of that is a little bit. Also, just let me know if me like saying the packs and the DLC is a little too much. Like if it's too much, then I won't do it. My thought is if we have people who are coming in watching my videos, like maybe they'll see I'll put objects down and they're like, oh, what's that from? I get that all the time when I'm streaming on Twitch. People want to know like, oh, what DLC is that item from, or like what pack is that from? So I'm just used to having to say it that I naturally just incorporate it when I'm narrating my speed build videos. If it becomes a little bit too much or annoying, like to say like where the items are coming from, then just let me know. But I just tried to do that as like a courtesy to people who maybe don't know, and it's like new items they haven't seen yet and they want to know like what they're from, because it's hard to search that in The Sims and like Googling it online to figure out what a particular object is from. Now, if you're wondering why I'm putting pom-poms on the wall like this in random spots, it's because they came in the exact same swatches as the flowers on the wallpaper. And I was like trying to do this cool 3D effect because they look like flowers. So I don't know, I thought it was a nice touch and something that was fun that you would see in a kid's bedroom. And also it's hands down one of my favorite wallpapers. I love the wallpaper from Love Struck. I love a lot of stuff from Love Struck. I think Love Struck was actually a pretty solid pack from build buy perspective, as well as Life and Death. Those are a couple of my favorites, like that are more recent. And then the new Royalty and Legacy pack that came out, I think is really solid for buy build mode. I think they knocked it out of the park, quite frankly. I was really surprised because when it was announced, I was not thrilled about it, to be honest. I don't really care for the theme. I still don't really care about the legacy aspect of it. I don't do gameplay though. So that's like I'm a bit biased in that sense. But I will say I personally think that build buy is really, really good. I was overwhelmed at the number of objects, and it turns out that there are over 450 new assets between cast and build buy in this expansion pack, which is crazy. Businesses and hobbies had, I think it was 374. So like it has like 100 more objects, which is just wild to think about. And it was overwhelming. My review video, I'll link that down below if you want to check it out, but it's almost an hour and a half long, so you might want to listen to it twice speed. And then I was trying to like make this gallery wall here in the primary bedroom around the vanity. I love doing vanity spaces, but I don't know, the wall was white, which I don't do super often, but it was like so much white. I was like, I want to cover it. Like, we need to cover it up with something. It was just feeling too blank and empty. So I found this gallery wall from Paranormal, and I thought that, like, even though it wasn't the vibe that I was looking for the art itself, it was the perfect shape. So I was able to like fit the 3 pictures that I wanted and put that there. So I ended up like cluttering up this room a pretty good bit, I would say. I really like the landing off of this because if you noticed, I used the Cozy Kitsch rug, which incorporates a little bit of blue, and I used a couple of objects from Cozy Kitsch as well, and I tie that powder blue color in as like a tertiary color a little bit. So it's like you get a little bit of something different there, which I think is a little more unique to the space than you get around the house. And actually, Grange Mudroom Kit is actually funny because they have a rug that has the exact same swatch, like color swatch, not same pattern or anything. It's a very different pattern, but it has this red, pink, and blue color swatch to it. I was like, this is perfect. So we can have that downstairs and upstairs, and it kind of ties in a little bit and isn't super random. So you get a little extra color in, so everything's not white, red, or pink for the most part. Now for this bathroom, I did try to make the half wall like this off-white color. The toilet I kept as a white color, and then I go in and I add a few shelves by the door that are also this off-white color. I just think anytime we could add neutrals, I even added the white rug. I was like, we need to add neutrals in here because there's just so much happening. We need to ground the space a good bit more. So I thought it was perfect for that. Now, one thing I will say right now before I forget, because it's very random, but it is what it is. I'm announcing right now, like for every video I do up until this point, that I have a challenge going on right now. It came up in Twitch, and I am doing something where I will shave my head. I will shave my head. If we somehow were to hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube by March 15th. So if we hit 10,000 subs here on YouTube and hit 1,000 followers over on Twitch, I will shave my head live on stream here on YouTube and on Twitch. I will stream it to YouTube, okay? That's a deal that I have. Now, pause. You can see I put these flowers here by the bookcase. It's because I had these arch flowers that I had from the courtyard, but the way that I needed them to be organized, it clipped to the inside of the house. I was like, how can I make this look seamless? So I sized those down and then stacked them on top of one another on both sides of the bookcase, and it turned out to be a really pretty like way to create a focal point down the hall. So when you look down the hall, you have the bookcase with the pretty flowers, and the flowers that clip in from the arch blend into the flowers that are in the boxes. So it works really, really well. And, you know, it was a happy little accident to figure out a fun way to incorporate that. And I think it's really cute. It's a fun way to incorporate flowers, which are very Valentine's Day themed, and then also just some pops of color that are other than red and pink. Now, this is the rug I was talking about. So it's a similar color scheme, but very different rug. But I was like, we have the other one directly above it on the second floor. I was like, this is perfect. We can use this down here, have that upstairs, and then it's maybe not so random feeling. Like I said, I didn't do too much purple. I didn't want to do purple. There were purple trees in Ciudad, and I tried to put that initially outside, and it just wasn't looking right because everything else was red and pink or a neutral color. I was like, I just feel like it sticks out too much, so I didn't use it. And the only time I used purple was really in that child's bedroom with the rug and the wardrobe for the most part. I tried to stay away from purple. Again, I think red and pink get Valentine's Day across way more than purple, so I was trying to stick to the theme on that. Now, I'm starting to clutter the kitchen, which is one of my favorite things to do. And it took me a while to get through this and like how I wanted to clutter it. And I was trying to find items that I don't always use. I feel like it's so easy to get caught in a rut where you use the same objects over and over again. And ever since Kitchen Clutter came out, I've definitely been guilty of that. I think Kitchen Clutter is a really great kit. I use it all the time. It comes with pink swatches, which is perfect for this. So everything from that kit has like a pink swatch pretty much. So I was like, okay, I got to balance this out the best I can. How can I do that? And then I also used the Cozy Kitsch fruit bowl with the apples on the peninsula that you can see. It's definitely way oversized, but it is a cute object that I normally forget about. So I just think it's like really nice to branch out from time to time. So whenever I'm building, I always try to like find objects that I don't usually use if I can, because I just don't want my builds to look the same. Like I know from the outside my builds often don't look the same, but I sometimes get caught, like I catch myself using the same objects inside, if that makes sense. So I would love people to look at my builds and be like, Dr. Sims built that. I can tell because of the detail and the clutter, more so than Dr. Sims built that because he used XYZ objects. You know, like I just don't want to be known for using the same stuff all the time, I guess is all I'm trying to say. And it's sometimes you just need a refresher. So you get out of your box a little bit to do that. But I found these plants from Enchanted by Nature, super cute. And I was like, these would be perfect to put in that walkway. So that's what I ended up putting there for a little flair. And I, of course, was going to add plants. I just didn't know which ones yet until I came across those. And then I'm cluttering up the dining room here. Obviously, we don't have a lot of space to work with. So all I wanted was a hutch over by the door. And For Rent has this perfect slim hutch that I use all the time when I have tight spaces. And then there's also like a bathroom one as well with a towel, which is perfect. Highly recommend it. I love, love, love that hutch so much. Now, I didn't get around to play testing this. Technically, your Sims should be able to walk beside this because I left a half tile, but push come to shove, you can always just take the two chairs off of one side of the dining table, push the dining table up against the wall, and then put those two chairs on the ends of the table. So either way, it's fine. You might have to finagle it a little bit. I don't think you will, but let me know in the comments if anyone downloads this and actually plays in it, if that ends up being a problem. I'm sorry, it's just an easy fix. So, you know, I primarily build for vibes, but I try to like maybe consider functionality from time to time. There was a point in time where I didn't care at all about that, but I know that it can be frustrating when you know, download stuff from the gallery and it doesn't work very well because stuff's just all over the place. So I'm trying to be a little mindful of it, but at the end of the day, I will let vibes trump function. Now, I did go back in and start adding more clutter. I'd already gone through this bathroom, but I was like, I didn't like the blank white wall. So I added a second shelf to the one I had already done to fill it in a little bit more. And then you can see I added that flower wall object up into the wall and clipped it in by the door. So maybe when you walk into the bathroom, you smell fresh flowers as opposed to any other scents that you could get from a bathroom that you maybe don't want to smell. Now, I did use Riviera Retreat in the backyard space because we had these red swatches with the pink pillows. I was like, this is too perfect to not use, so I absolutely had to. And we don't have much of a yard. It's basically just the pool. So I was trying to not do too much out there so you could easily navigate a pretty good bit. Now, I went back and forth on these curtains because Riviera Retreat also has these curtains that come in red and pink. I opted for the red because we already have so much pink outside. It was a nice accent. And then I only put it on the courtyard. I went back and forth on putting it on the hall space as well, leading to the front door, and I thought it was too much. So I was like, maybe we like to sit in the courtyard space. We can have some privacy. We can draw the curtains, you know, because it is on the front of our house. So I thought that was something that worked a little bit better for functionality, like just thinking in real life more so. And then I added these flowers from Island Living on top of the lattice because I like the idea that something's growing up there and you can get some, you know, shadow a little bit. And it's not just the sun beating down on you the whole time. And then I added this platform to the fountain just to raise it up so you could get a better level from street view, like to see it better. And then I put landscaping around it and I left this path around the fountain. I am very much a pacer. I talk to myself and pace around my apartment all the time. I'm okay with admitting that. It is what it is. I don't care. I talk to myself all the time, all the time. So I liked the idea of having this walkway where you can step down from the courtyard or from the hall on the side into this space, and you could just like, you know, if you wanted to read a book and walk around, you can hear the fountain. You could just walk around and think out loud if you wanted to. It's just like a little pathway where you can walk around the fountain. I just thought it was like a cute little vibe. I didn't want it to be like cluttered with a lot of stuff, so I left it fairly open just so it's easily navigatable. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to speak words right now. And then I put these shrubs along the side here. I put the little flamingos in the front. We had a request about that in the chat on Twitch. I was like, I love that, so we'll do it. And then this is where I like tried to put the purple tree because we have the purple trees all around us in the world. And I was just like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It sticks out to me too much because everything else is white, red, or pink. So I found this tree, sized it up, and then I did use like this pink, I don't know, cherry tree. I don't think that's, it's not a cherry blossom, but I used that pink tree in the front too, just as an added pop of color. And then I added the courtyard oasis tree in the back in this nook area, and then I moved the trash bins over to the other side by the gate. And I think that works perfectly. That way you're by the gate already. You don't have to like drag them across the entire like backyard space to get around to the front. And now I'm starting to like furnish the courtyard space. I did want to use the big couch. It took some finagling, but I did wiggle it in there. And then I do add a couple of chairs around the table as well, and then do a bit more clutter with this. I had fun using a lot of the big plants outside for this build because I usually don't get to use those super often. They don't fit very well everywhere else. And then I pretty much just focus on landscaping and detailing the outside. So let's just hop into the game and I'll show you all the final build. So this is the build from the outside. I think it turned out really, really pretty. I absolutely love the way that this looks. I think it looks so cool. But you can see from the outside, like I even put the gnome with the flamingo right here. And then we have the other flamingos over here, the fountain, the trees. I put like a little love blanket. We had to have some woohoo spots, you know, with the picnic basket over on that side. And then I'll show y'all the back at the end, but let's just kind of, you know, go in through the front here and I'll show y'all the vibes. So as you come through, I did put like sculptures through the arches over here, and we have a bird bath on this one. And then on this side, you can see the fountain on the first two arches, and then you get into the courtyard here. Again, the couch is a little clunky, but I did leave a half tile, so technically your sim should be able to walk through that. If not, it's not that big of a deal. You can either move the plant or scoot this over, but I just wanted it to be centered. But this is the courtyard space. And then we'll wrap back around. As we're going up to the front door, we have our mailbox there, and then we have a little seating area. I was pointing out the mailbox because I don't want people being like, oh, you forgot the mailbox. I didn't forget mailbox or trash cans. But we have our little seating area off to the side here with the candles. We have the fountains, and then you can look out this way as well. So really pretty nice area to just kind of relax a little bit. And then as you come through the front door, you can see to the right, you have your living space here. I left it, like I said, a bit more like open feeling. I didn't want to overdo it. I think that this is such a small space, I could have easily over cluttered. And then this is like what I was talking about. When you look down this hall, you see that focal point with the flowers and the bookcase. I think that's so pretty. I love the way that looked out. I love the way that turned out. And then we have our kitchen over here. So lots of red, lots of red in this space. But I think with the floor and the ceiling being white, it definitely helps a pretty good bit. So it's not too overwhelming. And then we have our dining space over on this side. So again, try to leave it a little bit more open since this is already a pretty cramped room. If you can't walk through here, you can just push this up against that wall right there, or that wall if you wanted to, and then change the chairs to the ends. So it's not a big deal. You can fix it if you need to. And then this is the main bathroom on the first floor. So shower, toilet over here, vanity area with cute little display cabinet, and then our flower wall that we have right there. And as we come back out and start heading down this hall, you can see the like cool little paneling that I added on the curved wall here. I think it's really cute. I think it turned out okay. Just gonna leave it at that. But we have this like big cabinet here, and then as you come through, side table, bookcase area. So I really love how it turned out, and then you can go out to your courtyard this way. Now, while we're here, we'll go into the first kid's bedroom, which is on the bottom floor here. And nice big clutter. I did put the imaginary friend. I thought that was a nice little detail. Some of y'all might not like that, but it is what it is. I had fun with it. Put Herbert. I love Herb. Herb's so cute. And put a big dollhouse as well. So cutesy vibes. You can see the little touches of purple here and there with that ombre effect on the bed with the wardrobe as well. And then on our way out, we'll go upstairs. So I put this like cool little gallery wall on the side here. So we come upstairs to the landing. You can see we have like a little computer area right here. And then you come down through here. It's just like a nice little area. You have a radio, some books, just some cute little decor objects. And then we'll go ahead and go into the primary bedroom. So we have the big heart bed. Again, the animal print wall is an accent wall. We have the art stuff over here. I like it being by the window. and then our wardrobe area, and then our vanity area is on this side. So really, really pretty. I think it turned out really fun. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like super heavy with everything that's going on. It's busy, but it's not like heavy. So I think the white walls all around really help with that because we have really, really heavy reds everywhere. And then our bathroom. Now this is a bit much. It's pink, peach, the yellow gold. It's a pretty good bit. So I have a fun little bathroom off of the bedroom space. And then when we come back out here, we go to our teenager's bedroom. I love this room. I think this is probably my favorite room in the house with the way it turned out. Like the style of it is just really fun. Dark, moody energy. And the hearts, like you have hearts everywhere in this room, but with it being black and red, it doesn't feel like childish, if that makes sense. Like I think the aesthetic I pulled off a pretty good bit for the age group. It like has cutesy elements, but it's not like, you know, very Valentine's-y. It's like a mature Valentine's-y room. And then as we come out, we'll go to the primary second floor balcony. So you have a cool little hangout space. You have the fridge, the pizza oven, a grill, table, telescope. You have your hot tub. I almost said jacuzzi, but you have a hot tub here. And I like the picture that maybe like our teenager comes out here to do homework. So that's why I put the books there. And then this is like the little privacy fence that I was talking about. This is from Eco Lifestyle. And then I like put some flower vines on it to separate the primary bedroom balcony, which I forgot to go over. But this is the primary bedroom's balcony. They have like a nice seating area. They have the archaeology table. I just wanted them to have like a little extra activity that they do. So whenever we go to the outside space in the backyard, this is what it looks like with the pool area. I really love this. I think it's a like nice entertaining area. You have enough space for like the grill, people to hang out. You have seating over here. I put a chess table, have more seating there. We have bars, obviously the pool with the diving boards, fun, the floaties. And then all we do is have like more plants over here. And then you can walk over this way. And this is the main walkway to get to the backyard from the front off of the courtyard space. So I like how it all like flows together. I think it works really well. And then I did do like 2 different fences here that I felt like matched pretty well together. So I used this as like the main one, and then I wanted the back to be like a feature by the pool. So I used this fence. This is the Poetic Flowered fence from Wedding Stories. And then this is the rustic stone wall from Base Game. So there you go. Have a base game win. Now I did add these landscaping lights. I sized them up and added them as like lamp posts. Just clipped them into the columns on the corners. And I put one over here by the gate as well. And then you can also see the cute like little Valentine's lanterns lit up. The columns with the lights work really well around the house. They light up the house. And then this is the front at night as well. So really cute. I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it's a fun build. We did it relatively quickly too. I liked getting into the details a little bit. Like I saw this on the house over here, and then I was like, I have to add these, and they came in a red swatch. I was like, this is perfect. I have to use these. It was kind of serendipitous how some of this stuff worked out. And then, you know, some of the tacky came through. I put the hearts with the shrubs in the front right here. Thought that was a cute detail. And then again, I love our flamingos that we have around here too. I put this on the gallery as Valentine Haven, and it does use a lot of DLC. I'm really sorry, but I have done a few limited pack builds recently, so I hope that compensates for this a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this video if you made it to the end. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind liking and hyping my video, that would help so much because I don't get much love from the algorithm lately, but I definitely have some really cool builds forthcoming. I have one massive one that is a huge village that I'll be posting a tour of very soon. So if you want to subscribe to see that, make sure you do so because I promise you it is worth it. As always, a huge shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for choosing to support me. It means so much to me. It really does. And if you want to check out my last speed build video, I'll put that over here for you. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye. I had so much fun with this build. If y'all have any ideas for future builds, put them in the comments below.